Okay, so this is gonna be boss rush. It's gonna be under this time attack option. And, let's do everything. Hard, normal, nightmare, let's do it. So I hope you want to see all the bosses in one sitting.
I mean, this is good remembrance to what you did and what I didn't do.
Yeah. On hard and nightmare, this guy's not too much different, except that fire that he shoots in place, he doesn't just shoot it in one spot, it'll follow you with it. Not really sure how to avoid that, except to just keep going for him while he does that. Geist isn't all that different either in hard and nightmare, he just hits harder, so you want to be kind of aggressive. When I say aggressive, I mean you don't want to give him a chance to attack.
He seems like he's tough on nightmare mode. He does a lot of damage. That's like 5 hits and you're gone.
Yeah. Most of the bosses on nightmare mode are mostly just a little bit tankier, and they just do a lot more damage. But, you know, if I do shit like this, Geist isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah, he just keeps jumping.
He has invincibility frames when he jumps like that, but, you know, it's not that big a deal. This guy isn't all that different either, except on, like, hard and nightmare difficulty, you're going to notice that, like, the bosses aren't going to be happy on these higher difficulties until they make the frame rate drop below 20, if they can, because this guy on hard and nightmare wants to spawn a lot of his little baby bugs. Plant boss wants to spawn a ton of his baby plants.
That sucks if the
frame rate doesn't actually drop, but it feels like they really want it to. And when I say they, I'm talking about the bosses, not Falcon. Also, if he's just hanging low enough while he's still flying, you can still hit him.
Yeah, I was watching that.
And I'm doing that to take him out quicker, because this is time attack mode. You gotta hurry up. You can't just go about it leisurely. And look at that. Look at all the eggs he spat out. Which is like normal, but he's about to do more.
Just hit him twice. Like, maybe a little more. There you go.
You see those little laser turrets, knockback lasers for this guy? 6 of them will spawn in nightmare mode, and 4 of them will spawn in hard mode.
Why don't you destroy the turrets?
That's what I'm about to do. You know, if I don't get knocked out by them.
I guess he can destroy them too.
No, he actually can't.
Oh, he can't?
If he lands on one, the turret stays alive, but the platform it's on disappears. So if you want to get rid of it, you just have to be in the lava water to do it. Part of the reason I'm showing different difficulties is because we kind of already saw these bosses all on normal, and some of them actually kind of change up what they do on hard and nightmare, or like there's something different about them, like this guy's got like little turrets.
But aside from that, it looks like he's pretty much the same.
He's pretty much the same, yeah, except, you know, he does a little bit more damage and a little tankier, a little bit more defense, that's about it.
Seems really annoying. I think he jumps a little bit more.
Tiny bit. He does a little bit of everything a little bit more. Or maybe it just feels like that because you have to also deal with the laser turrets while dealing with the boss.
You got this.
Oh, he only needs a couple more hits. I hope I can beat him.
I mean, you should know if you can beat him or not.
Well, I mean, I'm confident. There we go. This is Plant Boss. I'm showing him on normal for the sake of time, but on hard mode and nightmare, he has a little bit more defense. He hits harder. Also, on occasion, the plants they'll spawn are, I guess, like quote-unquote, like champion versions of plants, where they'll glow a certain color, be it red, yellow, or blue. If they glow red, then they can only be hurt by Brillante. If they glow blue, they can only be hurt by Live Art, so on and so forth. Sometimes there's also enemies that glow in white, And if they glow in white, well, then they're just impervious to you. You'll only ever do like 1 damage to them, it seems.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. There's another boss who has like friends that are like that. We'll see later. But other than that, plant boss isn't all that different.
B-Boss!
Oh, it's B-Boss! B-Boss isn't all that different either. He's just hits a lot harder.
B-Boss is the best.
B-Boss is the best because he gives you all the best stuff.
Yeah.
He also gives you more stuff than all the other bosses.
And to think you wanted to be a hermit.
Yeah. See, B-Boss, when life gives you lemons and you're feeling down, a B-Boss is exactly what you need. Just go find a B-Boss.
And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah. Bye-bye, B-Boss. And Jellyfish Boss is also pretty much the same. Just handle him the same way.
Jellyfish Boss was boring.
Yeah, he's already almost done. So this boss on hard nightmare mode, he'll hit harder, and the one thing he'll do a bit differently is when he stomps his hands down like that, he spawns an auto clone.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, other than that though, that's kind of all he does. Also, I didn't show it off in the main video, but you know what? I'll try attacking his arms.
He has a lot of health.
Yeah, he has a lot of... I like the boss fight because it's kind of cool, but sometimes it can go on for like a little too long. I was waiting for that Alclone to show up and like come over here and like fight me, but like he's just chilling over there.
I guess he has other stuff to do.
Also, if there's already an Autoclone on the arena, he won't spawn another one if he stomps his hands down.
So there's just that floating rock. Oh wait, that's his hand. It's still attached.
Yep, that's just his stump where his hand should have been. His fingers fall apart, and after a while they go back. I still don't know why these things meow. There's so many things in this game that meow, and like I just don't understand it.
I don't know, they like the sound of meows. Meowing. Why do you keep destroying the hand?
To make it a tiny bit easier. Otherwise, he would just keep using his hand. When you destroy his hand, your magic gauge fills up all the way. That seemed to happen every time I destroyed his hand. On both difficulties, Nightmare and Hard. On normal, I don't usually bother destroying his hands.
This is a very long boss fight.
Yeah!
I don't remember it being that long during the main main story.
Well, in main videos that we did, when we actually fought this guy, you gotta remember, I was also playing on normal.
Oh yeah, you were also playing on normal.
Also, the thing about boss rush mode and time attack mode in general is that you don't really get to pick any of the variables that you have going into these fights. The game just kind of puts you at whatever level and gives you whatever equipment it thinks you should have, while also like keeping it a challenge, sort of.
Yeah, so you can't choose like the lifesteal or whatnot.
Yeah, you can't have like Bloody Nail or something, and you can't. You don't get Daylight Stone for any of the fights.
It would have been nice if you could choose it. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, but then you can kind of break it that way. Which I mean, there are leaderboards and people who already fucking like break the time attack, but I mean, as far as the game was originally intended, I mean, it's alright. Oh, and hey, it's Frog Boss. She's not really all that different on hard mode, except she just hits a little bit harder, more defense, whatever. On Nightmare mode, though, she does something a little different. When she does her poison thing, she does a whole lot more poison things, but also, she'll spit up her lunch.
Why?
I don't know. Indigestion?
You're taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, in Nightmare mode. Also, every time she does it, it seems that she had something different to eat.
Seems like it.
Man, now these guys are attacking me and stun-locking me while I'm trying to fight Elizabeth, and it's like, you know, Limewater Cave is just the worst.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think if anything, this has just reminded me that Frog Boss is kind of the best.
Frog Boss has a lot of health.
Yeah, and she takes a bit longer to take out in Nightmare mode. Like,
yeah.
all of them do. If you've been watching the times, too, you can see, like, it took me a lot longer to finish Nightmare mode than it did any of the other difficulties. The other two difficulties.
Well, don't you do, like, less damage and whatnot?
Yeah, you do less damage, and they do more damage to you.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
You're gonna die in one hit.
Yep. Also, when you defeat Frog Boss, she falls back just like she did in the story. We're back on normal for time. But the same thing I said about the other plant boss applies to this plant boss. So, well, there you go.
Plant Boss is the same.
Yep.
Plant Boss is fun, though.
Plant boss was alright. On hard and Nightmare mode, Plant Boss will spawn a lot of plants if you let him. And I mean a lot of plants.
I mean, on normal mode, it's quite a lot, so I can imagine how much it would be on hard mode.
Yeah, if you give him the chance, it is so much more. And the only reason I'm not showing that off is because it's pretty much the same fight, but it just takes longer.
You're not really taking any damage.
No, but this is also normal mode, and well, there we go. He got me. This is also normal mode, and at this point, I practiced like these runs a couple times, so. So on Nightmare mode, Doorman, Boxer guy, he gets 3 of these guys that shoot bullets. The bullets won't stun lock you, but they'll do like 3 ticks of damage a second if you get caught in them. And they do a lot of damage. On Nightmare mode, they're immune to all your swords, and there's 3 of them. On hard mode, they're immune to all your swords, and there's only 2 of them. So there's a couple different ways you could approach this. You could do it the same way I did in story mode, which is like just, you know, shooting him with fire while trying to ignore these other guys. But that doesn't really work when there's like 3 of them doing a ton of damage to you. So I decided to just run up to him and just like hit him in the ribs every time like this. It seemed to work out pretty well.
You take a lot of damage though. I mean, when you get hit, which you don't get hit that often.
Yeah, if you're over here, you're not going to get hit by him too much, and the rocks don't seem to fall that close to him, so when he smashes down, it's not going to be that big a deal. And if you time the jumps right, when he smashes down, you're going to be on the other side of him, so you don't really have to worry about that. Back to normal for Jellyfish Boss 2, Electric Boogaloo. On hard, you can kind of deal with him the same kind of way, it just might be a little bit more difficult. On Nightmare, he does like 60-something damage a tick. I got to the point where I just couldn't deal with handling him anymore, so I just kind of like ran clockwise and counterclockwise around the arena, waiting for Brillante's magic to charge up, and just hit him with the magic every time, because I just got to a point where I didn't want to deal with him anymore, and he's kind of tough on Nightmare. If you do it that way, you're only going to do about like 100 or so damage every hit, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I can imagine it be a little difficult on Nightmare.
Yeah. Especially with all the little slimy guys doing like every status ailment they can to you. And once you get cursed, you're screwed because your strength and defense goes down. B-Boss isn't all that different on Nightmare though. He's just a little tougher.
That's because B-Boss is the best.
Exactly. Because B-Boss is the best.
You're also destroying him.
Well, this is also normal.
Does B-Boss have like the least HP of like all these bosses?
Yes. Both of them. So, Galbaroa, he's a little different. Not really. He has 2 new moves anyway. When he lands, he does a little shocky wave thing. And the other thing is not really so much a new move, more that he's a little bit more difficult. Just like the baby version of him from, you know, earlier. He's a lot more on point with his fireballs when he shoots them at you, and they're a little bit harder to dodge. Other than that, he's still pretty much the same fight.
He seems like he's not that bad.
Yeah, he's not too bad. As long as you're careful, because on hard Nightmare, he does a lot of damage to you.
Yeah, I can imagine the tail attack probably taking out a good bit of your health.
On Nightmare, he's like doing damage in like the hundreds. So you gotta be kind of careful. You don't really have to know his patterns because he telegraphs his attacks like pretty heavily. But you just gotta be a little careful on higher difficulty.
At least it doesn't seem that difficult.
No. He's not really all that much harder on Nightmare either. He just does a ton more damage. And this will be it. If I can get a few more hits on him. There we go. And now we fight Ernst. So, I mentioned this, but I didn't really explain it very well. You can attack the fairies. You can't attack the fairies with whatever sword they share an affinity with. So, like, you're not going to be able to attack Ju with Brillante or Cisa with Livart. Also, if you look closely at Ernst, a lot of his animations for his like attacks and stuff are kind of similar to Adol's for attacks and stuff. Like when he does that lunge, that's kind of like when you lunge with your lightning skill, or sometimes he'll do like this twirl, which kind of resembles the wind skill. When he does the Super Friends, it's kind of like when you do Ericill's magic for chain lightning, sort of.
Yeah.
When he sends out that shocky wave, that's just a downward strike. And there's nothing really special about that, I just think it's kind of neat. So, I think Ernst is still probably like my favorite boss fight in the game, even though I've played all the bosses on all these different difficulties now. He's still just the most fun to fight.
He is pretty awesome.
Also, also his boss music is pretty rad, so there is that.
Yeah, he might have the best boss music of all of them.
Yeah, on hard mode he does a bit more damage, he takes a little bit less damage. On nightmare mode, I think he does like some crazy amount of damage, like somewhere like maybe 120, 130, something like that. What's he doing here? Like 90. I think he did like 120 or something in nightmare. He hits hard in nightmare. So you can't really go about beating him the same way I did in story mode because you don't have access to all the same equipment and stuff. So the name of the game here is to be aggressive. Also, you can jump over the triangle thing and it'll fly off the stage.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, there it goes. So one of the ways you can be aggressive is to attack him with air kill and keep getting the lightning skill so you can like zoom behind him so he doesn't hit you as often. Another thing you can do is you can use Live Art's wind skill, just kind of like do a whirly-wind thing around him all the time. Also, one of the things you want to make sure to do is if Zisa sends a healing wave, you want to catch that. You're only going to get 10 health, but it'll keep him from getting 100. Also, if you're not using Live Art, you can like knock her out every so often to keep her from doing that. And that was kind of close.
Yeah, kind of.
I want to show off Napishtim on Nightmare though, because Nightmare actually makes Napishtim a really fun fight. See these lasers? Remember these lasers? They knock you on your ass. If you get hit by them twice on Nightmare mode without using a healing item, you die. At least in boss rush.
Wow.
Napishtim does way more damage in Nightmare, and that makes this a much more fun fight because you got to be careful.
This is kind of cool.
Also, he's got flame turrets, which each with a different affinity for a different sword. When I knock one of these things out, it's going to move faster, like it did before, and that's more of a concern here because you will die if you take 2 hits. And there's a second stage of the fight where everything will also do more damage than it should, at least compared to normal mode, and so you kind of don't want to take the hit because you only get 3 of each healing item that the game feels like giving you. Also, in Nightmare mode, this fight it feels a little longer than normal mode, but I don't think it actually is by very much.
You have to be more careful.
Definitely. Also, when it moves faster, and you've only got one of these things left to take out, it gets really hard because you only really have enough time to get like 1 hit, or else the lasers will hit you, and you don't want the lasers to hit you on higher difficulties. So essentially this game becomes like Toho at this point. Although like in a bit he's going to have a lot of Toho flying around if you're not careful anyway, so... And now the second stage of the fight. The laser will do a ton of damage. Don't get hit by that because you'll die.
Is it a 1-hit?
It's not a 1-hit. It does the same amount of damage as the other lasers before, or like a similar amount anyway. If you get caught by it, it'll stun lock you. It'll do a couple hits of damage, not just one. So if you don't heal fast enough and get out of there, it may as well be a 1-hit. Also, all these little flying things do a little bit more damage too. But they still only take about one hit, so you don't have to worry about them too much. I've gotten to the point where I just don't care about that little shocky wave thing, because it only does like 5 ticks of damage. So, these little things, usually I like to keep them alive, at least in normal mode, because it makes this fight more fun, because it's the only thing that makes it any more difficult or better. Nightmare mode, I don't want to deal with them. Because there are more cause for concern on higher difficulties. I also still think that Ark of Napishtim is really rad for a final boss theme.
Did you die?
Nope. Not just now. But I did have to use all my potions, so I gotta be really careful, because I got hit by that laser.
This boss doesn't seem that difficult.
No, the difficulty just comes from the fact that he can like 2-hit you at any moment.
Yeah, you just
which
have to...
which I think makes this boss fight more fun. I wish it was like that in normal.
You just have to play really slowly.
You don't have to play slowly, you just gotta be careful. Which I guess could be like more slowly, more deliberate, yeah. And that's the Ark of Napishtim.
Took you 5 minutes to beat him.
And now Majunin on Nightmare. Majunin is still a piece of shit. He's got 2 new moves on Hard and Nightmare. He just showed you them. He does this little shotgun laser thing, and also he'll fly around and poop fire on you.
Oh yeah, he didn't poop fire on you.
Yeah, not in normal mode, no. Best way to avoid pooping fire on him is to do a little circle like that and like just jump over the flame, because when the flame is on the ground, it can still kind of hurt you. Also, he does a ton more damage in Hard Nightmare. I don't remember how long I was fighting him for on Nightmare. It took a really long time. I actually had to take a couple breaks in between, and I couldn't stop, because if you stop, then you have to do all the boss rush all over again. He hits way harder, and you don't have a Daylight Stone here, so you don't get a second life. Your second chances are in the form of Capital Waters, which refill your magic and your health to max.
Yeah, I noticed.
So, I was trying to blend the tactics that I was using in normal mode. Don't use those normal mode tactics, they're not going to work here.
Why'd you do that?
I don't like it when he poops fire.
Does he do like double the damage?
He does a lot of damage. Also, I think the range on his Evil Angel for the hitbox is a little wider in Nightmare mode than it is in normal. Which I think is why he's hitting me from like slightly further away than he was when we last saw him.
Does it tell you what level you are in boss rush when you're fighting the bosses?
Not explicitly. I think you just kind of have to extrapolate it from the amount of health you have, and how much damage you're doing, and how much damage you're taking. Well, this is pretty good. So far I'm lasting more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, what I started doing was I wouldn't use any of my Capital Waters until I get to like that last tick of damage where one hit is enough to kill me. Because you don't want to use your Capital Water too much, because if your magic is almost already charged and you have like no chance of being hit, that's just an attack that you're wasting. since Capital Water will automatically fully charge your magic. This is kind of a chance you lose. Oh man, can I maybe do it?
I don't know, can you?
I got really scared here because I was so close. Luckily, he gave me 2 really easy to avoid attacks, and he gave me another one. Whenever you beat Majunun on boss rush mode, though, and finish, there's a little ripple that shows up on one of the corners of the room. And when you go there, you'll get teleported to someplace. So, now we're on the beach. Alright. Wait,
Yeah.
what? Hi? So when you beat boss rush mode, you get to hang out and play with Olha on the beach. Wherever you walk on the beach, she'll follow you.
Okay.
Yeah. You could talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all she'll say. I thought she might say something different, but she didn't. You know what? Since we're on the beach, I want to check one thing out. Well, let's see if she can follow me all the way down here first. Nope, looks like she can't. Let me see if that chest is here. What's in it? Just another capsule of water. More useless now than ever.
What's the point of this?
I don't know. When you go over there to open that chest, she gets confused and wants to follow you, so she just walks into that rock. But what if you beat boss rush mode on hard? Now you get full portrait art. Instead of just the portrait art in the text box. Yep.
Okay.
She'll still follow you on the beach. And now she says something different. If I talk to her again... Alright. And if you press the jump button, which skips dialogue, you can hide the dialogue box to see the rest of the portrait art. Because you can.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, okay, this is... Okay.
But what if you beat it on nightmare mode? Now you get different portrait art. So, your reward for beating boss rush mode, if you know what to look for after you beat Majunun, you get to go on a date with Olha on the beach. Yep.
Okay.
You know what? I think I'm about done here.
Okay.
That's your reward for boss rush. What was it all for?
I don't know.
Why'd I do this?
Oh.
Anyway, that was boss rush. That was the last thing that needed to be done in this game. There we go. We're finished with E6 now. I'll see y'all next time in that Dio Brando game I mentioned.
I can't believe it. That's such a random reward.
It's a pretty anime and Japanese reward, yeah.